There we go. My microphone was muted. Not a great start. Hang on one second. Oh, in my infinite genius, I decided to do my laundry before I started the show, and the washing machine was really loud, so I cut it off. Take a sip of my wonderful Food Lion French roast coffee. Hope everyone's having a good Thursday morning. I figured I would come on here and do some supernatural news for you guys. I tried getting in touch with CR, and he's having internet issues, so he'll be joining me tomorrow. We're gonna do a reaction video. So hopefully he'll get everything figured out, and we'll get through the supernatural news with as few fuck ups as possible. I can't promise you anything because sometimes the pages freeze up, or I can't say a word or something. So, but we'll make it through. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these supernatural news shows. I'm very excited to get started here. I did look up some holidays today, and it is National Teachers Day. So I want to wish everyone a very happy World Teacher Appreciation Day or World Teachers Day or something. Either way, congratulations. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to teach our children, to teach me. And yeah, just keep up the good work. Thank you very much. What else? It is National Get Funky Day. So if you ever had the urge or the desire, the outright need to get funky, then today is your day. Just to get up and start dancing. Dance at work. Dance. If you're at a funeral, dance at the funeral. You may get some weird looks, and probably your family won't be happy about it, but it's National Get Funky Day, and you really can't help yourself. You've got to express yourself by getting funky. So you have permission, wherever you are right now, to get up and get funky like this. Get funky, get funky, funky, funky. That's me getting funky for you today on the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show. Let's see. Look, there is a lot of days today. There are a lot of is National Do Something Nice Day. We had a show on Wednesday, and there was nothing going on Wednesday, but October 5th is definitely a day full of days. Yesterday was the anniversary of Melissa Elliott's passing. She is the young girl who was shot and killed by her brother at the cabin on 360. She's the reason why we go out there, really. I mean, she's the one that states her, her death is basically is what started this whole thing off. Us being able to investigate the Brick Rancher and see what was in there because of what a story my dad had told me. It is now like her anniversary was today, or no, yesterday. So we went over there. Howie and I went over there and did some EVPs and stuff. It was, and say hi to her and just tell her, how much we appreciate her and stuff like that. So hopefully she heard us, and she is she knows that we are trying to honor her memory as best we can. But it's true. I mean, she has definitely brought a lot of people together, and she deserves to be appreciated for that. Let's see here. What else we have going on? Oh, yeah. October 14th and 15th, we are going to be broadcasting this show right here, What are you watching? This show right here. Look, me, you. This show, the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show. Yeah, this right here is going to be broadcasting live from Richmond, the Nightmare Fest, Nightmare Weekend. I keep calling it Nightmare Fest, but it's not. Nightmare Weekend, Richmond Nightmare Weekend, or Nightmare Weekend Richmond. I can't. It's one of those things, but it's got the words Nightmare Weekend in Richmond in the title. So let's put that in. That's where we'll be. We're going to be broadcasting on stage, on mother freaking stage. Okay, in front of people. Me in front of people who cannot talk in front of people. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be broadcasting live. Me and Angie and I are gonna be broadcasting live. I'm gonna have Angie with me, which I'm super excited about. We're gonna be chatting with Austin William Ingle, you know, the guy who hangs out with us sometimes. Yeah, he's usually this side of me. He's gonna be hanging out with me on Saturday. Us. I'm saying me because I'm the only person here right now. So yeah. So us, me and Angie and I are going to have Austin William Ingle from Forgotten Explorations on the show. And that's at 2:00 on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we've got Dennis Eslock, the man, the myth, the legend, on the show at 12:00. We're going to be talking about Cabin on 360. We're talking about remote viewing. We'll talk about fucking, why spirits call him an asshole all the time. We're just going to be talking about a whole bunch of shit. Only thing I'm worried about for me personally is the fact that the show, like we do the show, it's more of a personal thing. It's way just conversing with my friends about paranormal, and hopefully some people find it entertaining. But I'm trying to figure out how to make it entertaining for a whole bunch of people, you see, without really changing up what we do. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. It's a great opportunity, and I'm happy to, have Austin on and help promote Forgotten. If I can say the two words, Forgotten Explorations, that'd be great. Forgotten Explorations. I feel like I'm drunk when I say that. I forgot if I can give them like a platform, give a more of a platform to get his stuff out there, because he's got Halloween video coming out, Halloween series coming out at the end of October, and he's always been good at promoting the Cabin on 360. So I'm very happy to have him on and talk about what he has going on. And, of course, Dennis, he's very entertaining and he's very good in front of people. So I'm pretty easy part. All I have to do is ask the questions, and then, they have to, give the answers, and hopefully it'll last an hour. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a horror convention. Not a horror convention, not the other kind. Horror, not horror. I mean, that would be fun too. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think Angie will want me hanging out at a horror convention. So I'm looking forward to like seeing all the costumes and stuff, and looking at the cosplays and whatever. I mean, I don't like horror movies at all, so I'm not sure. I told the guy, I'm like, look, I don't do horror podcasts. This is a paranormal podcast. He says, it's fine. So we shall see. Let's see. I got the same candle here, but it is so good. Haunted Woods, right here. This is by the Dutch Soy Country Candles. Now, as we all know, we've got the holidays coming up, right? Christmas, Thanksgiving, although I don't think you give candles for Thanksgiving, but Halloween. These right here, Haunted Woods. This is the scent of Halloween. It's October, guys. You need to make your house smell like whatever this smell is. I don't even know what it is, but it smells great. I think it's like, what is that? What is that smell? It's on the tip of my tongue, like cashmere or something. I don't know. It's good though. It's good. But they have like pumpkin smelling candles, apple smelling candles. I'm sure when Christmas comes around, they'll have pine scent candles or like Christmas sugar cookie. That's Christmas, right? Or gingerbread. I mean, there are so many different flavors these people have, and it's so good. It's done by hand by my friend Kippa Crew, Jeff Dangler. His daughter does it. She makes these candles herself. This isn't some kind of factory shit. This is, it's up in Dutch country too. So this is quality stuff. Man. So yeah, go to Dutch Soy Country Candle after this is over. Don't do it now. Wait after the show is over. Type in Dutch Soy Country Candle into Facebook search bar right there. And send her a message. Say, hey, I need candles. I need my house to smell as good as Ryan's house does. And you'll be thanking me when you light those candles up and your house smells like a pumpkin patch or an apple pie or a Christmas tree. And I'll say, you're welcome. All right. Supernatural news tonight is brought to you by, you guessed it, Dutch Soy Country Candles. And myself. So let's go ahead and start the show here. Going to go present. Boop. 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 Okay. Now we're going to talk about star seeds. Now, I have a friend of mine who's going to come on the show on November 5th, 14th. Her name's Rory, and she's come on the show before. And she's a big expert on star seeds. My friend Jess Marie is also a big expert on star seeds. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. Let me go ahead and see something right here. Go ahead. Let me go look at the. There we go. It'll be a fun conversation. Let's see. I'm going to try to go through the article without messing it up too bad and not talking too fast. So let's do this. Starseed, psychologists. First, messed up already. Psychologists on why some people think they're aliens living on Earth. There's a new group of people on Earth who believe they're aliens. Star people or star seeds are individuals who believe they come to Earth from other dimensions to help heal the planet and guide humanity into a golden age, a period of great happiness, prosperity, and achievement. I sound a little crazy, but an internet search for the term brings up over 4 million results. And there are scores of people posting videos on TikToks, Instagram, and Facebook who believe they originate from another world. Indeed, content with the term #Starseed has over 1 billion views on TikTok. I wonder how you know. I guess a question you should ask Lori or Rory. Like how she knows she's a starseed. Like what? Maybe she had an awakening or something. That is a good reason to tune in to the show on. Look at 11:14, right there, November 14th. It says 11:14. That's what the time is when I said that. Synchronicity is a thing. Unlike Earth souls who are said to reincarnate on Earth, star seeds believe we awakened from another planet to be born here. Star seeds believe they are conduits between divine realms and the Earth, and that they can transport between galaxies via meditation. Star seeds also believe they can communicate in light language, a form of communication that is said to bypass human limitations and be the language of the soul. Well, I mean, I don't even know what to say to that. Sources believe they can communicate in light language. I wonder what light language is. Is a different? different words, or is it like communicating through light? Maybe like Morse code, like flashes of light. A form of communication that is said to bypass human limitations and be the language of the soul. Like, is it more telepathic, I guess? Maybe. Put your ideas in the comment section, and I'll be like the first time I've ever had a comment done on this video. But you know what? It's all good because I love giving the knowledge to the people. The idea is widely credited to the author Brad Steiger. He wrote prolifically about the unknown and was keenly interested in alien life and extraterrestrials. In his 1970 book, Gods of Aquarius, Steiger introduced his notion that some people originate from other dimensions. Believers claim that there are several ways to tell if you're a starseed. These include searching for meaning in life and feeling a lack of belonging, being spiritual, and possessing a strong sense of intuition, knowing are also qualities of a starseed. They're also said to be empathic, empathetic, sensitive, and have more physical and mental health issues as their souls aren't used to having a human body. Starseeds want to help humanity, but they get overwhelmed by life on Earth and so recharged by spending time alone. Believers also say that starseeds have the desire to explore and experience new cultures and spheres, which helps star people to then provide novel insights into existence. Examples include new conspiracy theories about society, holistic health interventions, along with thoughts on ancient aliens and civilizations. So, I mean, I know a lot of people feel like they don't belong. They feel like they're built there. Some people talk about how they were born at the wrong time, or they don't feel comfortable in their own skin, I guess. But does that make them a starseed? Does that mean they came from another planet? I don't know. I wonder how many people think they're starseeds, but they're just using it as an excuse, because as a coping mechanism, not really excuse, a coping mechanism. Like, maybe I don't feel this way because I'm not from here, and that's fine to think that, as opposed to people who really are starseeds. I'm not the one to say that starseeds don't exist, because I don't know. I have nothing to say about that. With what I've seen, I would not be surprised if they do, honestly, and I would leave it at that. I would probably lean on the side of they do exist. Again, because of what I've heard people talk about and what they've seen. I mean, I pretty much believe anything exists at this point. At some point, I just believe, because it's good to have an open mind. Believe it until I'll believe it until I'm proven that it doesn't exist, or someone proves to me that it doesn't exist. That's what, I go by now. We had Elizabeth Covey on Forgotten God. Nolan Ramey and Elizabeth Covey, or Lulu, they came on the show, and they're going to coming back on in December, but they were talking about trolls and all these things that you think are just fairy tales, but she's seen them in real life, and she believed that she saw them, and I believe that's what she saw. I haven't seen it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Choose your reality. You might recognize some aspects of yourself in the above description. Many people, for example, report searching for meaning in life, along with feeling displaced or like they don't belong at times. Indeed, research shows that a low sense of belonging is often linked to depression. But what makes some people who are experiencing such feelings jump to the conclusion that they must be from another planet, particularly given that no life beyond Earth has ever been found and there's no evidence that alien life has ever visited Earth? Well, I mean, I think there's evidence there, but people just don't choose to look at it. Welcome to the Forer effect, named after Bertram Forer, the psychologist who first figured out that it was pretty easy to get people to agree with vague descriptions about themselves. See horoscopes. The concept of star seeds is a form of New Age belief. The term refers to alternative spiritual practices that developed during the 1970s. Although each New Age belief is different, philosophies share common features. They view existence in terms of the universe and focus on spirituality as well as the self. Think crystals, energy healing, and psychic abilities. Other features include reincarnation, karma, and the possibility of reaching a higher level of consciousness. Support for New Age beliefs such as star seeds is on the rise. It comes from a distrust of science and doubts about conventional perceptions of reality, particularly cynicism about modern society and an attempt to find meaning in life. I mean, hello, why wouldn't you be fucking cynical about modern society? And why not? Why not look for something different? Why not try to better your life in different ways that maybe society doesn't believe in or frowns upon? Why not? As long as you're not hurting anybody. Certain personality characteristics may also incline some people to believe in the notion of star seeds. For instance, if you are fantasy prone and often confuse imaginary and real events, you may see the theory of an alien consciousness as profound and desirable. Okay. So basically, they're saying if you just kind of live your life in the dream state, blah, 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 and you can't tell imagination from reality, what you have an idea in your head, in your imagination of a building, right? And you take it and you put that building and you build that building, and that building becomes reality. You have a fantasy. You fantasize about things, and you make it a reality. You put good intentions out there. Just because you use your imagination. Trying to think how to word this because my brain's cutting off, but you're making the people look like they just don't know what they're talking about. And just because it's in their heads, and sometimes people, they see things in their heads, like psychics. It's in their heads, it's not their imagination, right? But the imagination is reality. It's commonly seen in schizophrenia, and research has found links between of course they're going to do that because that's what they're trained to think. They're always going to say, well, you've got some issues. And there are people who have issues. I'm not saying that's not the case, but not every time. And they damp it down. They try to tamp it down and make it sound like you're a crazy person because you are experiencing these things instead of trying trying to understand it, it's tough. I don't know. A further effect can occur of such beliefs is what's known as ontological confusion. This occurs when people cannot discriminate between metaphorical and factual statements, such as old furniture knows things about the past. These may interpreted more literally than metaphorically, so it make it more likely that people then endorse pseudoscientific transcendental theories. This is especially true when the source of the information is perceived to be trustworthy and knowledgeable. Dubbed the Einstein effect. This is where trusted sources of information are given more credence because of the social credibility they possess. See you in the chat room. Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? So, I mean, basically, the old furniture knows things about the past. If you go someplace, go to an antique shop, and you walk in the door, there is a feeling that comes over you when you walk into an antique shop, because some of the stuff that's in the shop has got memories attached to them, and the memories can give off energy. And that's true. And it happens to a lot of people. Just because it doesn't happen to everyone, I think it does happen to everyone. They just choose to ignore it. And then they think it's something else. But furniture does give off memories. In case of star seeds, several books may be published by big publishing houses may provide a sense of authenticity and oh my God. And so too does the fact that a number of them are bestsellers. Indeed, it seems life as we know it may not be as straightforward as we once imagined. Well, life changes. And we are going through an awakening. We're learning more stuff about each other, learning more stuff about the world that we cannot see. And some people are fighting that. They don't want that change. They don't believe in that change. They're holding on to the past. And like I said, there are people who have issues. And it's not every time something happens that it's star seeds or psychic abilities or whatever. But it does exist, and it definitely needs to be taken more seriously. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? Oh, God. Top 3 scientific exploit. Let's see what this is, guys. Top 3 scientific explanations for ghost sightings. Let's go. Let's see what science has to say about ghost sightings. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Courtney. Hey, Kelsey. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. The top 3 scientific explanations for ghost sightings. I'm not gonna read all this because just explaining what a ghost is. Top 1, because I told you so. Attempts to explain hauntings often draw upon psychological factors such as suggestion. So being told a place is haunted is more likely to lead to ghostly goings on. Now I do believe if you know some place is haunted, you do have something in your head that makes you expect it more. If I go to a house that I know is haunted, like let's say the Brick Rancher or something like that, and as opposed to a house I don't know is haunted, is a different. You're in a different mindset when you go into a house like that, or walking around the woods and that behind the cabin on 360. I know those are haunted, but if I walk around the woods, behind a random house down the street, I don't have that same feeling. So I understand that. I do agree with that. But I know that just because I know the Brick Rancher is haunted doesn't mean I'm going to see a ghost in it. Just because I know the ghosts are there doesn't mean I'm going to see a ghost. Just because, now if I do an EVP session in the Brick Rancher and I get an EVP, that's not because my mind thought they knew the ghost was there. It's because the ghost was there, regardless of what I thought or not, One classic study saw participants visiting 5 main areas of a theater before completing a questionnaire to assess their feelings and perceptions. Prior to the tour, one group was told the location was haunted, while the other group was informed that the building was under renovation. Unsurprisingly, participants that were told the place was haunted experienced more intense experiences similar to those of paranormal happenings. I mean, if you go to a place and say it's haunted, your mind is going to be on alert, right? So you might feel things that you didn't feel before. Chill, maybe you feel like you've been touched or something like that. And that's a good personal experience, but it's not concrete evidence that a place is haunted. I'm looking for, there is a spirit right there. I have it on tape, or a picture of a spirit. So giving that placebo effect into people to make them feel a certain way isn't exactly concrete evidence that there's paranormal stuff there. It's a good personal experience, but it's not, tangible stuff. Verbal suggestion has also been shown to increase paranormal perceptions, as shown in research on seance phenomena, paranormal key bending, and psychic reading, especially when the suggestion is consistent with existing paranormal beliefs. Again, if you're feeding into their psyche after being told the place is haunted, they're going to experience more stuff. But research in real world settings has produced inconsistent results. It's hard to have consistent results in haunted or paranormal activity because you don't get the same results every time. I know the cabin on 360 is haunted. I know St. Albans is haunted. I know Belle Grove is haunted. I know people that experience these things, but doesn't mean something happens every single time someone goes into a room and asks a question. A study in supposedly haunted Hampton Court found that suggestion had no effect on participants' expectations of experiencing unusual phenomena or their tendency to attribute unusual phenomena to ghosts. So it is fair to say that the effects of suggestion vary depending on a person's beliefs. And of course, paranormal believers are prone to endorsing alleged paranormal phenomena, while skeptics will deny the existence of the paranormal. There are people who will experience normal things, but will freak out and be like everything's a ghost. It's gotta be a ghost. There are people who take pictures of dust orbs in the sky walking through the grass, and you'd be like, oh my god, there are thousands of orbs like hanging out here, and you try to tell them that it's just dust or maybe rain, maybe a bug, but they don't want to listen to it. They'll attribute everything that they see as paranormal. But there are also people who will be like anything. They'll do anything to deny the existence of the paranormal. I don't care if a ghost comes up and slaps you in the face. It says, bitch, I'm real. It doesn't matter. they're going to deny it, and they'll be like, there's some kind of weird. There's got to be a explanation for this. It's it's supposed to be some swamp gas or something like that, where it's like they'll think of anything to come up with an explanation that is not paranormal. So it's good to find a middle ground, I guess, and not think everything's paranormal, but also don't try to think of every excuse in the book to deny the existence of the paranormal. Number 2, electromagnetic fields and spooky sounds. Hey, John. Oh, there he is.
Howdy.
Woo! All right, good. I was holding the fort down best I could on my own. I don't know.
Right?
People were clamoring for you. Where's CR? We're going to riot. So guys, calm down. He's here. Just chill.
Jeez. Good to know I have people behind me.
Tell you what, the pitchforks were coming out. Torches were they're protesting. We are learning about the top 3 scientific explanations for ghost sightings.
Oh, okay.
So number 2, electromagnetic fields and spooky sounds. Other explanations draw on environmental factors such as electromagnetic fields and infrasound. Canadian neuroscientist Michael Persinger demonstrated that the application of a varying electromagnetic fields to the temporal lobe of the brain could produce a haunting experience, such as perception of presence, a feeling of God, or sensations of being touched. And it has been noted that areas most associated with hauntings, such as Hampton Court, do possess erratic magnetic fields. I have heard that if you're around EMF a lot, it'll mess up you can start seeing things.
Right. Well, I dealt with that a lot. I was a security guard for probably 4.5 years. And one of the malls I was at, to go down to the engineering plant, you had to go down a hallway that had electrical switching gear by it. And as soon as you went into the back corridor, you could hear the hum. Mm-hmm. And for me, I mean, it just, walking by that, it raised the hackles up on your neck. And if you spent any time in there, yeah, you would feel like you weren't alone.
Like I said, I was saying earlier, when you have personal experiences, like you had a personal experience with the kids laughing, kids singing, but we got it on a recorder. That is tangible evidence. When someone says, like, I went to Pamplin Park 2 weeks ago with Crop and my friend Michael, we were standing in the museum, and he was talking about the statues that were supposed to be Civil War soldiers playing cards, and he was saying something about them, and someone tugged his jacket, and I was standing like 5 feet away from him, and he asked me if I did it. I said, well, obviously I'm not doing it because I was 5 feet away from him. That was a personal experience for him, and he thought that was really cool. But it's not a tangible experience. When people have these, like, go through electromagnetic fields and they start experiencing things, that is something that they're dealing with on their own, like mentally.
Right.
But I like using like EVPs or photographs, videos, stuff like that. I use that. I tend to think of that as more paranormal evidence than, people having personal experiences, unless have someone like a psychic or medium like Rhonda or Kim Sage or
Kazi or
Barry, who has these experiences, but then their experiences are backed up by the equipment,
right?
Or they talk to someone, they send someone who lived in a house and then it's backed up by history, by historical, So it's good to have these experiences as far as the personal experiences, but if I would understand how people, if you go into a house and like I said earlier, you go into a house and if you're told the house is haunted, you're going to have a different point of view compared to if you go into a house and no one tells you anything about it.
Right.
It's just you can't help it.
That for me boils down to front loading. And that's
Yeah.
something that Cindy Kaza actually doesn't like to do. If you've seen some of the shows with her and David Schrader and another guy will go in and they'll get the down low of the property, and she'll stay sensory deprivated in an area and not get front loaded, which means getting information of the place you're going to beforehand. Because I don't know how that helps, but apparently they're able to sense more when they go in when they're not front loaded.
It creates expectations that that you are looking for something instead of looking for something in particular, and you get focused on that one thing compared to not having an open mind because you're not focused on one thing. Like if I tell the people about Randy or the entity in the basement in the rancher, they can be focused on that, but they're not going to be focused on every other spirit in the house.
Right.
So maybe if you just don't say anything, but there is something to say about knowing names or being able to focus on something, because maybe you could draw out more activity from that one thing if you just focus on that one thing compared to trying to talk to everyone. Talking to just one person, you may be able to get more out of that one person. So it's just kind of a double-edged sword. And I guess it's whatever you're comfortable with too, whatever way you work.
Well, I like going into places without a preconceived notion of what's going on. I like going in knowing a little bit of the history of the land, not so much, like who was there, were they bad? Because I'll sense that when I get there. But just knowing a little bit of the history of the land, that's what I like.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I get that. Of course, you go someplace, if you go someplace to investigate it, you're already going to know it's haunted. So that's taken out. That's just a given. You're not going to be like, go investigate some random normal house, because or at least somebody thinks it's haunted, and that's why you're there. And then if it's a private investigation, then you determine whether or not it's haunted or not. And there are certain times when you need to have certain information, especially if it's a private investigation, just because you want to make sure you get all the answers.
Right.
Similarly, infrasound audio frequency below the range of human hearing is also thought to explain such phenomenon. Several studies have linked infrasound and bizarre sensations. In one example, contemporary pieces of live music were laced with infrasound, and the audience were then asked to describe their reactions to the music. More unusual experiences were reported when infrasound was present: chills down the spine, feeling nervous, waves of fear, uneasy or sorrowful emotions. You tell I've been talking a lot because I'm having a hard time saying words. So infrasound, where does that come from?
So infrasound, the best way to just explain it is you've seen a dog whistle, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically infrasound. That is a sound wave that is out of our range of hearing. And there's different frequencies and there's different wavelengths that we may not hear, but our body can understand. And there's a lot of like the military has a what do they call it? A passive denial system, which it doesn't emit sound, it emits microwaves. And basically it's a targeted beam that they can move that basically warms your body up and makes it uncomfortable, and you have to move out of the space. So infrasound is kind of like that. I mean, the sound waves may not warm you up, but they're going to make your systems, they're going to throw your systems out of balance.
So they use it for maybe like riots and stuff, try to get to disperse riots and stuff
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
So my question is, where, if you were in a haunted location,
Mm-hmm.
what would cause infrasound? Because I mean, the way they're talking, like, was like they put the infrasound out there, and this audience was experiencing these things. But if you're in a haunted location,
Right.
what would cause the infrasound to make people experience these
Yeah.
things? If you're in a house that's no electricity and you walk into a room and you feel a certain way, there's no infrasound to cause that, or EMF.
Well, and that's the thing I'm unsure of, is how does infrasound naturally occur? I know that there are some inventors out there that have made infrasound pumps, and they bring that in, and they can change to different frequencies, and when they do that, they get interactions. But I don't really know how infrasound occurs naturally.
Yeah, it's basically, I mean, they're basically saying, well, yeah, if you use infrasound, they start experiencing these things. Yeah, if you use infrasound in a enclosed area, and
Yep.
you put people in there, and you pump the infrasound in, and you already know this is what's going to happen, of course they're going to experience it and be like, oh, there you go. Tell you what, they're experiencing these things, and so therefore it's fake. And I'm like, no.
Well, and it's like, to me, it's like if I went into a room and yelled, nobody's going to hear it. But if I go into a room packed full of people and yell, then they're going to hear it.
Exactly. I mean, of course they're gonna back up what they're saying by backing the decks in their favor, and feel like, well, okay, I'm gonna tell them this place is haunted. Then I'm going to pump this room full of infrasound, and they're gonna freak out and be like, haha, this is all fake, because we pumped it full of, we set the stage.
Mm-hmm.
We made you feel this way, but it's not real because we did it.
Kind of like bringing in an EM pump.
Mm-hmm. But that is, if you bring an EM pump yourself, you know that is a factor in your investigation.
Mm-hmm.
These people did not know. I'm assuming they did not know that there could be infrasound. Right. I don't know.
Yep.
Toxic hallucinations. Supernatural perceptions can also arise from reactions to toxic substances, such as carbon monoxide, formaldehyde, and pesticide. It also has been suggested that fungal hallucinations caused by toxic mold could simulate haunting-related perceptions. Shane Rogers and his team from Clarkson University in the U.S. observed similarities between paranormal experiences and the hallucinogenic effects of fungal spores. This may explain why ghost sightings often occur in older buildings with inadequate ventilation and poor air quality. The notion is not new, and experts have previously reported a similar effect associated with old books. They claim that mere exposure to toxic molds can trigger significant mental or neurological symptoms, which create perceptions similar to those reported during haunting experiences. So,
well, and that's why you see GAC did that a lot in their later stuff, where they were getting sick and they couldn't understand why after investigations, and then Zach started wearing respirators in certain places, and it does not take much to disturb mold spores in an area that you're in. And once they're airborne, they look small, but they're plentiful. And if you don't know what you're going into, the white mold, the black mold, or if you walk into a place that maybe the roof collapsed and there's a lot of moisture and you see mushrooms on the floor, if mushrooms get crushed, they can release spores. And depending on the type of mushroom, depending on the type of effects that it has, it could have hallucinogenic effects. It could have, anything. So yeah, you really don't know what you're walking into.
yeah. And there are like physical explanations for people see things. But to put that as the only explanation for things, where you go into a room where there are no mushrooms, there's no black mold. And yeah, you can put those into a box. Okay, right here. See things if you're in a room and you see things and there are spores, and that could be an explanation.
Yeah.
But it doesn't explain everything.
Right.
And it doesn't explain if I do an EVP session, I catch a voice that wasn't any of the people that were in the room with me. That's not because of mold spores, or not because of infrasound, or electromagnetic field. It's because there was something there that we could not see that was communicating with us. So when you went and got the voices of the children playing, that is thanks, Lexi. That is that was a memory. That is something that is stuck in time in that particular area that you were in, and that doesn't have
in that location.
Yeah, it has no nothing to do with what we were talking about. And I do understand that there are scientific explanations, and not everything is is paranormal. I'm not saying that. I'm just also saying that science can't explain everything either.
No. And I tend to, when I go into an investigation, it's twofold. I'm there to experience what I'm going to experience, but I do also try and debunk to a point. Like the really obvious stuff, I can point out to myself. But I usually try not to overthink it and over debunk, because then I get too scientifical.
Yeah.
So usually I'll just walk in and figure out and feel what the place has.
That's what you as people say all the time, you got to trust your gut. Lexi, we had Lexi on the show on Tuesday, and she was telling me how she was in bed and her boyfriend was still watching TV, and the remote flew across the room. But apparently she didn't realize that it was mold spores that actually made the TV remote fly across the room. So Lexi, you're good. You don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Spores,
You're just on a trip, Lexi. That's all.
Yeah, it's all the infrasound and the EMF making you imagine that the remote flew across the room.
Well, it's kind of like the same thing with UFOs. I mean, there's you're going to have that on the different camps. Whereas, I've seen what I've seen. I know I saw a UFO, but there are people out there like my dad. And it's kind of hard to talk, because he's seen Bigfoot. Now I could say, hey, you didn't see Bigfoot, you saw this. But that to me is, we have two eyes. We've seen what we've seen, and we can't describe it.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right. Their experiences that some people are only supposed to experience themselves. You experiencing the UFO, your dad experiencing Bigfoot. I've seen a UFO over the ocean. I can't explain it.
Right.
I saw it. And that's always why it's always good to have two people with you or have someone with you when you're investigating.
Well, when I saw that UFO, I had a buddy with me, and we couldn't figure out what it was.
At least you had someone to experience it with,
Right.
Like Rhonda, she's a medium, so she sees things. I can be in a room with her, and both in the same room, she can see a little girl standing in front of her that I would have no idea that it's there. She's seeing it. I can't, but I believe that she's singing it.
Right.
It's just personal experience.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the mold spores or the EMF or the infrasound that doesn't exist in the building. It's all to do with your abilities and how you use them.
Kind of like saying that people on drugs see more paranormal action than people who don't.
Yeah, because you're under a mental enhancer, maybe. Especially like getting high or doing mushrooms and stuff. You might see things that
right,
you might think are real.
You might sit and have a intelligent conversation with a rock.
Yeah, and that rock told me things, man. Oh man, you could see a gorilla with bat wings flying at your head.
Right.
That doesn't mean it's real. Any plane of existence. You put that out there. You put it in there. So I mean, I guess people some people do smoke, and they go to the astral plane. But I want to go to the astral plane without the use of drugs. Well, I'd rather get there on my own with a clear head rather than smoke something to get to it.
It's like the Native Americans when they do their vision quest and they smoke peyote.
But how do you know how much of it is real and even real
right
on a different plane than real in your head? That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Not that they worry about it. I'm sure. Just something I would be thinking about. Like, well, how much was this? And this was actual. Then again, just because it's in your head.
Good point too. She said, believe people open themselves to possessions on hardcore drugs.
Yeah.
Because you don't have control over your faculties at that point.
Yeah. And you become vulnerable, weak. And
that's exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah. And if you start looking for drugs and you start losing money and you become less and less stable mentally, and you start doing things that you might not do before, and you become desperate, and then they'll latch onto it and they'll feed off you. And then move on to the next once they've used you up. So don't do drugs, kids.
Right. Drugs are bad.
Do drugs. This public service announcement was brought to you by Dutch Soy Candles. Haunted Wood smells great. I've already done the commercial for them, but again, Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show brought to you by Dutch Soy Candles.
What scent you got over there?
It's haunted woods, but I can't describe it. I think it's like a cashmere type smell, but that's not the right word. Sandalwood, baby. That's what I'm
As
looking for.
always, my black teak wood. I love that one.
Teak, that might be it. I don't know. I think it's like a Dutch or a Dutch sandalwood type candle.
Yeah.
Now I have 4 people. Oh, yeah, 4 people. Oh shit, we got 4 people watching us.
Rock on.
Oh shit, this one I'm about to get off here. We got 4 people watching us.
Right.
Oh, I mean, I sent you the sent you a link if you want to find an article to read.
Sure.
We can do one more.
Oh, was that the?
Yeah.
Let's
That's
see.
the one. Back down to 1 again. Wah, wah.
I'm looking it up here on my phone.
And I'll just tell me which one you want to do, and I'll pull it up on the computer screen here.
Um,
Right back. Oh.
yeah, I'm not sure which one. Well, let me put this question out there to the people who are watching. What is one of the things that you would like to talk about? What is a God, I can't, man, can you think today? Because I can't think
Topic?
today.
Was a topic that people want to talk about?
Yeah. So as far as like a paranormal news topic, throw something out there. If we have anybody watching, I know for me, like to kind of parlay into what I'm doing this week is we're actually going to be talking about the Queen Mary hauntings. We're going to do that show on Friday. And I guess for me, my biggest thing is, people say that activity is amplified by water, by moving water. And basically, there's currents in the ocean and all that, but you're moving through the water. So I wonder how much that would affect. Because I mean, she was built brand new in mid 30s. I don't think there were any deaths aboard due to the building. But I wonder what the correlation is between a clean vessel and the water. If you're going to, say if you're going through the Bermuda Triangle where something has happened, are you going to attract spirits to that vessel?
You know what? That's a good question. I think history has a lot to do with what you're talking about, and just people's memories, people experiencing things, and stuff built through time. Tragedies. Everything can happen on a ship. What was that? It's like a floating hotel.
Right.
You have a new brand new hotel, it's not going to have experience, not going to have, unless it's built on, haunted ground. But I mean, the ocean's haunted, so whatever you put in, it's haunted right there, but it's constantly moving through the water.
Yeah.
So it's not stationary. So it's, interesting to get people's perspectives on stuff like that, or see like how many boats are haunted, or hear or ghost ships or actual ghost ships.
Yeah.
Not haunted ships, but like the Flying Dutchman, things like that. Because that is taking a not a person, but a physical thing and make it into a ghost.
Right.
Lexi Warfield, Are you familiar with astral? Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with astral projection or sleep paralysis.
Sleep
He says
paralysis.
astral protection. I don't know if she means astral projection. I've experienced both. Like spelling is terrible. I mean, so is mine. So don't worry about it. But I do know. I've tried astral projection.
Mhm.
Haven't quite gotten there yet, but it does take time and practice for some
Right.
people. Some people can just do it.
As far as the sleep paralysis, I really haven't experienced it myself, but I have actually had OBE, out of body experience, and those can be terrifying in and of themselves. But my cousin actually has sleep paralysis.
She astral projected accidentally.
Right?
Sometimes it's like you do something and you do it by accident, but you want to try to do it again, but you can't. My
Right.
experience wasn't willingly.
Well, like my
So,
OBE, that was just weird. I was in the middle of a dream, and all of a sudden, I'm sitting at the top of the ceiling, just watching myself sleep.
so how was that? How'd you get back in?
I it was like a dream. I mean, I felt, I saw myself, and then I woke up. So I don't know if it was a vivid dream or if it was an actual OBE or both.
It's got to be such an experience to experience something like an OBE or a astral projection, but not doing it willingly. To experience something, and it must be so scary. Where did you go on your astral projection, Lexi? Where did it take you?
Right. What led up to it?
Yeah. Oh, she's still there.
Yeah,
I, I
my dad actually had an OBE as well, when he was a kid. His grandpa my great grandpa lived down in Red Wing, Minnesota, and had a house, and all the cousins used to go there and hang out. And he was like, yeah, for some reason, when we were kids, we all liked to march around the house for some reason. And he said he and a bunch of his cousins were in line and they're marching around the house. And he said he remembered, coming around the corner, and all of a sudden he went up to the corner of the ceiling, and he could see him and his cousins just marching around the hall.
See, Lexi says I got horrified at what I saw and fell back into my body real fast. I got floating up and seen a UFO in the sky. Now I wonder if that was a astral projection or if it was a like abduction type thing that they were trying to take
Right.
her, and then she woke up and you're like,
Yep.
oh shit, put her back.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be. I mean, I've listened to Spaced Out Radio. This guy does a show. There's a lot of aliens like shows, and one of the people he talks to says, you can be abducted,
Mm-hmm.
but not even realize it. If you wake up and maybe you're on the floor, or wake up in the wrong room,
Right.
but maybe it's more of a soul abduction
Mm-hmm.
type of thing.
Well, and who knows? They might only want to abduct somebody who's sleeping. They may not want to. I don't know, because they're inducing fear anyway, even with the abduction. But maybe they don't want to cause undue harm by abducting somebody who's scared like that.
says the beings in the UFO acted shocked. They saw me. I know I left because I seen my dog look at me as I left and started floating up. It was crazy. Now it could be that maybe they're looking for they got the wrong person. They saw Lexi like, oh shit, whoop, put her back down.
I always joke that if I get abducted, I'm only going to be there for 5 minutes because they're going to realize that I'm batshit crazy.
Oh God, put this one back. The dog look at me as it floated. I mean, the dog saw her float away.
Right.
You know,
it's not an owl.
But I'm wondering if the dog saw her consciousness float away, because astral projection is your conscience, not
right.
the whole body going out. and dogs can sense things, so I'm guessing she saw her soul or consciousness float up, and then
Yeah, and that's another thought is when somebody is abducted, is the actual body abducted or is it just the inner soul? And that's why we can't account for the time because we're not in the physical body.
Yeah, I mean, I've yet to see a body floating up into space into an alien craft. Just like you see when your keys go missing and you think a spirit grabbed them. I've never seen keys floating across the room and being hidden by a spirit. Maybe they enter some kind of different plane.
Right.
Or there have been times people have gone hiking, and we can talk about this stuff. Like, they'll hold on a show on it. Like, people go missing, and they're in this like different plane of existence where they see people, they're looking for them, but people can't see them. They're calling out to them, or they go missing, and they come back, and the people who looked for them in that same exact spot find them later, and it was like, I was here the whole time. I'm like, no, you weren't. I just looked here. I was here. I was calling out for you, but you just kept walking. So maybe
alternate time or alternate dimension rip.
Yeah, though maybe that will be something that's happened.
Yeah,
but to me, it sounds like she had again more of a consciousness or a soul. I don't want to say soul, but that's not the right word to use. But I guess consciousness was being transported up into the spaceship.
Right.
What do you think, Lexi? If you're watching, or we got three other people watching one.
But then again,
any ideas?
What accounts for the people that say that they have implants from abductions?
I mean, I listen to this guy, R. Keith Andrews. He's on YouTube, and he said he was abducted when he was like 2 years old, and he said he's met aliens. He knows all these different alien races. He's got, he talks about there are some aliens that will abduct you, break your bones, and put you back together just for the fun of it. And he describes like the different councils, and it is like a whole. Think of like Star Wars or Star Trek, but it's all real.
Right.
And he's seen it all.
Kind of brings to mind Fire in the Sky.
Yeah. I mean, it's all out there, but only certain people can see it, I guess.
Right. Lexi says, yeah, go ahead.
I didn't go into the ship. I was outside it and go see, and I could see inside. I experienced different astral experiences 3 times, all when I was very tired and was having a hard time falling asleep. It's that time between, I guess, falling asleep and being asleep, that consciousness where it's like you're in between real and dream state. Wow. Was it all alien related, Lexi, or did something else happen in the other two?
So yeah, and you know, there's different people say that there's different types of aliens and different, you know, like the little green ones are nice, the gray ones are assholes. And it's just who knows, you know?
Yeah.
Who knows what's out there?
And you listen to these people on the shows and you get like 10 different explanations for what they see. You know? The first was when I was 12, I just floated to the ceiling and feeling in my room. Well, I'm guessing if it was not you physically floating, if you yourself floated into the ceiling fan, that probably would hurt.
Right.
But if it's just your soul or your consciousness, yeah, I mean, imagine if you're 12 years old, you start floating into the ceiling fan.
Right.
You may be like, what the hell? Oh, shit.
Right.
You see it behind my shoulder?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I see a ghost behind my shoulder. I see a ghost behind my shoulder. If I look, it's going to disappear. It's saying boo. It's trying to scare me. You see it?
Yeah,
oh my God.
It's there.
It's like I'm be on Nuke's Top 5. Did you see it?
Did you see it? Don't say nothing, but
That's right. Was it God, I can't think of the word when people like jump into photographs. Paranormal photo bomb.
Yeah.
Podcaster Ryan Jones was playing a show on YouTube when the ghost appeared. It just stood there saying boo in different colors.
Right. Hey, I got a mirror behind me, so I hope I'm not scrying and bringing anything in.
Yeah, there's Bloody Mary hanging out behind you. I don't want to say anything. Yes, I could see the room and myself and everything in the room. Tell you what, Lexi, you've had some experiences. And I would love to have you back on the Freaking Awesome Paranormal Show. If you want to join us for our talks like these.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. Just got to figure out when would be good. So tomorrow we're going to be doing a reaction video to Nuke's Top 5.
Been a while since we've
done that. As that though, my ghost behind me. So Friday is the Queen Mary show.
Yep, and we're actually gonna be going on at 6:00, a little early,
Nice.
but
nice. And then Sunday we've got the Freaking Awesome playlist,
Halloween edition.
Yes, and I don't know what we're doing on. Oh, it's hard to tell people about my experiences because they think you're crazy, but I'll talk about them on the show. Well, I mean, we're all crazy.
Right. We're all
that is, that's not up for debate. You're fucking crazy. I'm fucking crazy. He's fucking crazy. So we'll all be fucking crazy together. How's about that?
I don't know what's going to heaven and hell don't want us.
Yeah, exactly. It was like that the guy we had on the show a couple weeks ago. The interesting character.
Yeah,
he was fun. He was fun to talk to. I'm
right.
not, just gonna leave it at that. Yep. He was fun to talk to. Had different ideas, and if you want to look him up, E.O. Gwynn, he's a fun character.
Good character. Yep.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And I do appreciate him coming on the show, being the first show in 5 years to do a podcast. So I'm happy he came on the show. And Lexi, if you want to join us and we'll chat tomorrow. We've got Nuke's Top 5 reaction, probably around the same time. and that is if I'm here by myself. If RJ's here, because he's been having problems with his stomach. We'll
Poor
see
guy.
if I'm by myself. If not,
Mhm.
then we'll do it next week. Some Tuesday, it's doing our October birthday special. There's not going to be any kind of format to the show.
Mhm.
I think Jerry's having Holly on her show, and I'm not gonna do her show too, just because I have so much stuff going on.
So it'd be
Easier for me
kind
to
of
do
like
it.
a parashare or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. We've got Dana Marie Vollmer coming on the show. I think Rhonda might be there, and you and Jerry and
Mhm.
Holly. So, and sometimes Holly
Tell
can.
me about this this Paracon that's coming up. That you're gonna have a couple of live shows there.
Oh yeah. It's Richmond Nightmare Weekend. It is a horror convention put on by put on by GalaxyCon, which is one of the big comic book convention people or
Yeah,
groups.
it was fucking weird. Just had something drop in the kitchen and nobody's in there.
I heard it.
Interesting.
Oh,
Well,
my
if I
ghost.
disappear real quick.
It's like my ghost. If you go into a different plane, I know what happened to you. Why don't you get back before your show on Friday? So yeah, we had Shadows Abound Paranormal come on the show a few months ago, and a guy messaged me about an opportunity, and I was like, so I called the guy, and he was like, yeah, we're doing these. We want to do a live broadcast of these paranormal shows, and we'd love to have you on. So I agreed to do it. I'm like, yeah, it'd be fun. Something interesting to try. I asked Austin to come on and Dennis, because I knew they could talk, and they knew it would be easier for me to have someone on that I knew would be entertaining for people, because Austin
Right.
does YouTube and Dennis is just Dennis.
Yep.
This show is not really meant for a live audience.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a one-on-one thing. And one thing I'm worried about is trying to be entertaining to people.
Right.
But where it takes away from the show itself, thinking about the people too much and not,
Well, and it's one thing to do what we do on a live stream and technically recorded, but it's another thing to sit in front of an audience and do it live.
Yeah, it's going to take some getting used to. Maybe the second show will be better than the first. That's why I'm glad Angie's going to be there with me, just to make it more comfortable. Because I'm going to be nervous and stuff, and
Right.
I mean, I get nervous when I give the history of the cabin, but because my brain just stops working. It's literally just like words don't come. My mouth doesn't work. It's just like, God. So having someone there to work off of will definitely make it easier. And again, I'm just asking questions. I don't need to know anything, because I'm going into it like I don't know anything.
Right.
I'm going to like, I don't know these people, and I'm going to get, because people who are there don't know them. So I'm going to treat this as a brand new, I don't know anything about you interview. Right. And, hopefully we'll be invited back. But I'll be taking tons of pictures and stuff, and
that'll be fun.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, you linked me in that, and one of my buddies emailed or texted me, and he's like, "So when you going to VA?" I'm like,
"No, I just put you in there because you're part of the show,
right?
Part of the family."
I mean, it'd be fun to come down there sometime.
Yeah.
Whether it be for a con or to check out the cabin, that would be fun.
Or you can do both,
right?
Oh, well, my voice is hurting, so I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I got stuff I need to get done around here, but thank you
Yeah,
for
same
coming
here.
on.
Yeah, no problem.
Looking forward to the reaction video tomorrow.
Yep.
And thanks everyone who tuned in, man. We got a lot of
Thank
viewers
you
today.
guys.
This is awesome. And you'll check us out on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Freaking Awesome Show.
Mhm.
You can check out All My Mind with CR and Adrian on YouTube and Facebook.
Correct.
You got the Steel Rails podcast too.
Steel Rails podcast as well. Yep.
Awesome. And check out all the rest of the shows on the Vibe Radio Network. And we'll be back here tomorrow, hopefully, with our Nuke's Top 5 reaction video. And then CR will be on later on that night, tomorrow night, with
tomorrow night at 6.
Queen Mary.
CFP.
So, guys, have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
Bye. Bye, guys. Thank you.